How's it going, everyone? Thanks for watching my new intro that Jesse Naylor made me. Kyle Shanahan and Mike McDaniel just finished up their press conferences. You guys were probably watching on YouTube and then just clicked over here, so thank you. I was watching with you. I like hanging out in the YouTube chat. That's a lot of fun. It gets crazy in there, and a lot of you guys don't like me, which is my favorite because it's not fun hanging around with people that say nice things about you all the time. I want to hear the truth, and I did. So anyway, push hard on the intro. Yeah, okay. I got 5 things I want to talk about. My 5 takeaways of this press conference. I'm eager to hear your takeaways as well. Feel free to throw them in. Who's calling me? Hold on, someone's calling me. I get a lot of robo calls these days. Yeah, here's another one. I don't even know why I look. Every time I'm like, oh, maybe I won $1 million. No, it's someone I don't know. Okay, my takeaways from Kyle Shanahan's press conference. We'll start off with what I learned, my impression of what he said, my impression of his body language. Then I want to talk about Will Blackmon. He was in the league for 12 years. I spoke with him for an hour on Eric Crocker's YouTube channel. Definitely subscribe to Eric Crocker's YouTube channel. He's fantastic. He knows Will Blackmon. Like me and Eric Crocker were talking, and Evan Sowards, who's terrific as well. We're all kind of arguing on Twitter about the injury issue. And Eric had the brilliant idea of like, let's go live and talk about it. And he brought on one of his NFL friends who was brilliant. Brilliant. We'll talk about that too. And then I want to get my impression of Mike McDaniel. First, what Kyle Shanahan said about the injuries, his explanation. Tell me if this makes sense to you. Tell me if this makes sense to you. So he said injury happened to Tavarius Moore first. He was doing defensive back drills. It was not in a competitive portion. He was just cutting, like backpedaling and exploding forward. You do it every day to warm up. Pulled his Achilles. Ruptured his Achilles. And he said 2 plays later in a pass protection drill, whatever that means. I don't know if that's competitive or not. Doesn't sound like it. Justin School tore his ACL, got it in a rough spot. So both happened within 2 plays on Monday. My question was, well, and then we know that Kyle Shanahan shut down practice for Tuesday. They didn't practice Tuesday. And they're not going to practice again until training camp. He canceled minicamp too. I've never seen a 49ers coach cancel minicamp. It's supposed to be mandatory. Canceled. That Monday practice was the last practice the Niners will have of the spring. Now, Kyle also wants you to think that he was planning it to be that way, that he always wanted to shut down practice after Monday, and that he was planning team building exercises. If that's the case, then having 2 guys go down on the final day of practice is the worst luck ever. I just don't buy it. I'm supposed to believe, because here's what I asked. I said, Kyle, did you shut down practice after the second injury? And did you consider shutting practice down after the first injury? You know, they're not preparing for a game on Sunday. They don't have to do this stuff. They just canceled Tuesday. They canceled minicamp. They're 3 months away from a game. They don't have to do these practices. So did you shut them down? He said, no, absolutely not. Would have been weird. Only time you shut down practice is if a guy breaks his neck or something, which a guy did do a few years ago on the 49ers when Kyle was the head coach. He said, no, that would be weird. Okay, so shutting down practice midway because of injuries is weird, but shutting down all of minicamp and the rest of OTAs is not weird? And I'm supposed to believe you're shutting them down has nothing to do with injuries. That's my face. That's how I feel. This is how I feel when you tell me that you shut down 2 weeks of practices, but it had nothing to do with injuries. And it would be weird to shut down half a practice because of injuries. Those things don't mesh. They don't jive. Yes, you can shut down a June practice because someone popped his Achilles. There's no rule against it. Just like there's no rule against canceling all of minicamp. The whole thing. All of it. You know what they did on Tuesday? They went bowling. That was a team building activity. I should have asked anyone get hurt. Bowling. Because that apparently is too dangerous for this team. So Shanahan's explanation for the injuries doesn't make any sense. They were unavoidable. He had to finish practice on Monday, so 2 guys got hurt. But you don't have to practice on Tuesday or any day after that. But Monday's practice was non-negotiable. Non-freaking negotiable. The rest of camp, who cares? But stopping that one, honestly, if they had stopped practice after Tavarius Moore had popped his Achilles, Justin School would have 2 healthy ACLs. You absolutely can cancel June practices. Kyle just did it. He just freaking did it. So, Kyle, I didn't buy that explanation. Not your best work. Thomas says, hey, Grant, how many did you think? I can't put it up. I can't put it up. I'm not going to put that on my thing, but Thomas, I appreciate the the donation. I'm going to talk about my impression of Mac McDaniel in a second. I don't think your theory is the one I'm going to go with because this guy's a pro, but hilarious nonetheless. So, Kyle, I shouldn't have done that. Kyle, I wasn't really impressed with your explanation. It didn't seem to make sense. Let's keep going though. His explanation didn't make sense, but his message bothered me. When asked about the injuries, he did what he always does. What really coaches always do. They never want to look at it in the macro sense. They always go micro. Like in the past, if you were dealing with Jim O'Neill, the defensive coordinator under Chip Kelly, you're like, Jim, you guys gave up 280 rushing yards for the 8th game in a row. What's the deal? What's the common denominator here? And he would just quibble like, well, there is no common denominator. There was one long run here, one long run here. One guy got out of his gap. There was another issue here. So we don't actually have an issue. It's just 3 bad plays. Okay, well, you just gave yourself an excuse by looking at each thing in the most micro sense possible. But when you step back, it's clear that you have an issue that you haven't figured out. So with Kyle, it's like every year. I mean, he's in his 5th year as a head coach, and there's always injuries with him. They preceded him, but he just doesn't have a solution. Maybe no one has a solution. Maybe it's unsolvable. But when asked about it, like today, what's the deal? How is this still an issue? How is this not going away? What is the pattern here? He just deflects. He'll say, well, I mean, Jeff Wilson Jr. Tore his meniscus standing up. Tavarius Moore tore his Achilles cutting. And Justin School tore his ACL playing football. What do you want me to say? There is no common denominator. There is no pattern. And it's like, yeah, if you look at every single injury on its own, there's no pattern, I guess. But there's 8 years of results here. 8 years of the Niners being among the most injured teams in the league. And I think since Kyle took over, they're the 2nd most injured team in the league. So just going through each injury and being like, well, this one was different than this one, and this one was different than this one, and there's no pattern that we can take, so we're screwed. We're not going to change anything. I don't know, man. Find a pattern. There's a lot of people trying to brainstorm for you, and all you do is sit there like, nah, that ain't it. Nah, that ain't it. Okay, well, it might be because you haven't suggested anything. The other thing is, I asked him, like, what changes have you implemented in your practice schedule to reduce injuries in practice? I was looking for something specific. Not like, have you implemented changes? What changes have you implemented? And he goes, I implement changes all the time. I don't want to talk about it, though. I don't want to get into specifics. Maybe you should. Maybe you should lay it out because whatever you're doing isn't working. Do something else. I'm not impressed by Kyle Shanahan going up there and telling us details of injuries that let him off the hook. Hey, man, injuries happen. It's football. They don't have to happen in June. Like, they're not going to happen next week because you canceled practice. They don't have to happen in June. You're not playing next week. You're not prepared for anything. You're letting some guys who aren't going to make the team compete. So wasn't impressed with the fact that he took zero responsibility. It would have been nice if he said something like, you know what? We're all trying to figure out a common denominator. Clearly, we haven't found it yet. But you know what? I'm the head coach. It's my responsibility. And I'm going to say I'm going to find it. I'm not going to sit up here and be like, you know what? This injury was different than that injury. And what do you want from me? I'm just going to be the head coach and say it's all on me. Don't blame the strength and conditioning staff. Don't blame the players. It's on me. Whatever plan I thought was right for these OTAs wasn't. And maybe it's right for other teams, but our team that has an 8-year streak of being more injured than the average needs to think outside the box, do something unique, change something up. Otherwise, it's insanity. Repeating the same stuff every year and expecting different results is insanity, and we're seeing it again already. So I wasn't really impressed with Kyle Shanahan's attitude in this press conference. Let's answer some questions. All right, hold on. I'm gonna make sure I didn't miss any because I already know you guys are mad. And that's fine. I want you guys to get your say in there. So now media won't see team until training camp. That's right, Jordan. That's right. My egotistic aura says Jimmy G will take us back to the promised land. $4.99. Hey man, speak it into existence, baby. He didn't get hurt in training camp. That's a good thing. Honestly, it's a good thing more guys didn't get hurt because it seems like a lot of them did. It could have been worse. It's a good thing Kyle shut this thing down. You invest millions into players, can't invest into a better strength and conditioning staff. Shake my head. Yeah, I guess, it's easy to put it on the strength and conditioning staff. It may be on them too. But Kyle, maybe you want a strength and conditioning staff that's demonstrated. Here's the thing. Kyle had Marco Uyama, right? He just got let go from the Vikings. Maybe his time has passed. But when he was on the Niners didn't have injury issues. He was strength and conditioning coach of the year. Then he goes to the Vikings. They don't have injury issues. So maybe whatever this guy Ben Peterson does or Dustin Perry, it seems like they're very good at strength. Look at George Kittle. Look at Nick Bosa. Look at Fred Warner. A lot of these guys in this team have gotten way stronger in this strength and conditioning staff. But where's the conditioning? It seems like maybe these guys are too muscled up. I don't know. But anyway, Kyle Shanahan is the architect of the whole thing. He should be asking these questions. If they're not the right coaching staff, they're not the right strength and conditioning staff, Kyle needs to replace him. No one else is going to do that. That's him. It's on him. Good question, though. All right, hold on. I'm still going. Let's see what we got. V.O. Walker says, could it be the training staff? Anything for it not to be Kyle, right? It could be. It's everyone. Until they figure out the solution to this problem, the attitude in the organization should be, it's all of us. We all need to change something for the better. Get to cracking, get brainstorming. That's how I would think about it. San Fran 49er fan says, Grant, the other reporters were trying to copy you, man. They usually aren't that pressing on Kyle. Everybody going to do the Cohn method now. Man, I thought Kyle got a bunch of non-injury questions that he appreciated. I wasn't going to let him off the hook today. Today was injury press conference, and he was getting questions about Trey Lance. I don't know, man. Grant, I'm not buying your outrage on this one. Kyle sees you coming a mile away now. We can't trust a straight answer from him if you're the one asking. Fair. All right. So you're saying he's just purposely giving me non-answers because it's me? All right. You might be right. I'll have to strategize then because I don't want that. You might be right. That's a tough one, man. That's a tough realization to come to. Dang. I just feel like he may feel like it's personal between him and me, but it's not. I really see myself as being a voice to a large segment of the fans. And so if he tries to, slap me down, he's just basically disrespecting a large segment of his fans who are passionate, but also independent thinkers. They're not just going to go along with everything you do, Kyle, because you said it. I know that's how most football fans are. Maybe that's how they get down in Atlanta, but not out here. They're smart. They like my style of journalism, man. So maybe you should do business with me. I'm not that hard. My dad's a lot harder than me. I'm not that hard. I melt. I'm starstruck still by Kyle Shanahan, man. All I'm saying. Kyle's biggest flaw is not holding himself accountable ever. Yeah, I'd have to say that's great. I agree. And I only got to think is that's something that's been around since – that's a Mike Shanahan creation, man. A 41-year-old man can't hold himself accountable. He probably wasn't made to hold himself accountable when he was 11. That's something you learn when you're a kid. I'm just saying. All right, let's keep going. Kyle Shanahan's body language. This is the thing that killed me the most. Hold on, I might have missed a couple. Hold on. I might have missed a couple. They need to do yoga. They need DDP yoga. I don't even know what DDP is, but I know what DDT is. And that was what Diamond Dallas Page would get you with. All right. Let me go on. Hold on. As quality control specialist, you need to press Kyle more, my G. We got your back. Man, I would. But they don't let you follow up. They don't let you ask more than one question. You saw I asked 3 questions today. I was like, Kyle, did you end practice after the second one? Did you think about ending practice after the first one? And what changes have you implemented to reduce injuries in practice? Just in practice. I had to race through 3 questions in a minute. It was hard. Did I pass NBC Sports Bay Area on YouTube? I've been watching that for weeks. And I didn't want to say anything, but I'm definitely going to make a big deal about that on Twitter. Are you kidding me? Am I at 32K? Because NBC Sports is at 31.9. I think I officially have the #1 biggest YouTube channel in the Bay Area of Bay Area sports reporters. That's exciting. Yeah. That's what's up. All right, cool. All right. Enough about me. Kyle Shanahan's body language. All right, so this is what I want to talk about. So he comes in and he tells you that they canceled minicamp in the last week of OTAs, but it has nothing to do with injuries. That's just what they wanted to do. They just so happened to have 2 catastrophic injuries in the last day of practice. That's just how it was planned. Then he tells you that there's no pattern with the injuries and reporters and fans are making too much of it. Stop worrying about that. It's only been an 8-year trend. Stop worrying about that. He's got that on lock. That's the other thing he says. And then while he says it, tell me if I'm wrong. He sits here like this the whole time. Is that not how he sits? Like this. That's him. What is that body language in your opinion? What is he saying when someone sits there like this? What is that? To me, it's the teenager, 17-year-old teenager, who is getting in trouble with his parents, but doesn't respect them at all. You know what I'm saying? That one parent, that one kid who's got the pushover parents, and they're like, listen, Johnny, we've told you 18 times that you can't come back later than 2 a.m, all right? 2 a.m. is the cutoff. That's your curfew, man. Johnny, if you come back 18 or 19 more times after curfew, we're going to have to put you on warning. And then after warning, then we're going to think about punishing you. You know those kids, right? With those awful parents. And they're just sitting there like, yeah, man. I hear you, right? Yeah, we've done this. We did this last week. You're thinking about getting mad at me. You might try to potentially punish me. That's how he acted. It's like, man, I'm answerable to these clowns. I got to talk to the Bay Area media about injuries, and they don't even know about football. All right, man, ask freaking questions. I'll answer them. No, yes. That's the way I saw it. You know, the 17-year-old kid who's in trouble but knows he's not in trouble. I'm not in trouble. What are you going to do? Take my car away? You didn't do it last time. You didn't do it the time before that. I bet you I'm going to be out till 3 o'clock in the morning tonight. What do you think? I bet you. I think that was my added. That was what I took away from his body language. Like, all right, Grant's gonna ask his one question. I'm gonna handle that, and then basically there's gonna be a bunch of softball questions. I don't gotta worry about that. There's gonna be like 4 questions I gotta worry about. I already know what they're gonna be. Let's just get this over with. I hate this. I already know you're not gonna come down that hard on me. That's the way I saw it. I don't know. I kind of respect it. I mean, I guess I would act the same way. I don't know. I don't really respect it actually. It's just so arrogant. Grant, I want the truth. Kyle, you can't handle the truth. We want answers. Yeah, it's pretty much what it is. Alex says, what about McD? Is that dude so odd? I swear, so close to saying something he shouldn't say out loud. Haha, so interesting. I'm going to get to him. Don't you worry. That's the last topic, McDaniel. But I got one more, and I want to talk about Will Blackman, because Will Blackman actually provided so much more insight than Kyle Shanahan on the most important issue of the day. The injury issue. If I missed a question, man, did I miss one from the coach? I'm sorry if I did. They're coming fast. Let me know if I missed one, and don't spend again. Just put it in the private chat or something, and I'll ask it. Shanahan is the golden boy who has never. You can't put it in the private chat. Put it in the regular chat. And answer. Shanahan is the golden boy who has never been challenged. Keep challenging him. Mike Shanahan was the same way in Denver until he wasn't in Denver. Sounds good, man. I feel like here's the thing. I'm not that tough. My dad is so much tougher than me, all right? And he would bring it hard on Jim Harbaugh. And Jim Harbaugh appreciated it. When Harbaugh left, he wrote my dad a letter and said, you know, going against you was an honor. These are the big leagues. And I want the high, hard one. I don't want softball questions. I want high cheese. I want to be challenged. And I appreciate that you challenged me. And I appreciated that I could rise to the occasion. That's how these coaches should think. So if I could be that guy for Kyle, good. Why not? Should bring out the best in him. I mean, I brought out the best in Robert Saleh, didn't I? Didn't I? Did I not get that guy $30 million? Would he be a head coach right now if it weren't for me? I don't know, probably. But I'd like to think I helped him. Okay. Yeah, Lowell Cohn was big league, man. I'm nothing like my dad. You guys think I'm cool? I'm just like a way tamer version of my dad who like gets on screen and makes jokes and stuff. My dad was serious. He could be a performer too, but there's no comparison, man. Gen Z will never really know what that dude was doing in the mid-80s. It's too bad that stuff wasn't all on the internet and we can't go back and see him. Although if you want if you want to see my dad, the only real video evidence of my dad in the 80s is watch Sugar Ray Leonard fights. That dude's bald head is always ringside. Right there. It's like, man, that's some prime real estate, Dad. Those some good fights, Dad. Leonard Hearns won. My dad's right there. It's like, wow, 1981? You're like 36. Man, I'm jealous. Anyway, two more things. So Will Blackman. Okay. I went on Eric Crocker's YouTube today. Subscribe to Eric Crocker's YouTube. He's not hard to find. He brought on one of his guys, Will Blackman. They played together. Will Blackman was in the league for 12 years. I've never talked to it. We've tweeted at each other before, and I probably said some rude things because that's how Twitter is. We disagreed, and then I'm like, well, you're dumb. And then he's like, well, you never played in the league. And I'm like, well, that's true. But today we got to talk for about 45 minutes. I just listened, man. He's so interesting. So what I want to say, this is my takeaway, and I think it's the most brilliant thing that I've heard on this subject. So my theory was that, man, Kyle's being too intense with these practices. They're not ready, these players. It's June and May. Look at all these soft tissue injuries. They're not ready for this level of intensity. Blackman actually had the exact opposite take. He said, it's not that they're not ready. It's that they're overtrained. And why are they overtrained? That period between January and May where they're on their own. Smart vets rest and recover for a long time. Smart vets understand that recovery is just as important as strength and conditioning. Kids don't know that. They didn't have to know that. They recovered quickly in high school and college. You slow down with your recovery. And a lot of these kids these days are just working out every single day in the off season, posting their workouts on Instagram for the clout. And by the time they get to camp, they're cooked. They're gassed. And it's not that they're not ready for they're not fresh, and things start to pop. That's what I thought was the most interesting thing. And look at all the guys who got hurt this year. Jeff Wilson Jr., 25. Tavarius Moore, same. Justice School, same. These are all young guys who are on their first contract, getting toward the end of it, that are making that push for the second freaking contract. And that's a tough one. I mean, Tavarius Moore's been a backup. Justin School's been a backup. Jeff Wilson Jr. had a good year last year, been a backup. What are they going to do to differentiate themselves? Well, they're going to work out like crazy all offseason on their own, and they're going to come to training camp and play 100%. And they got hurt. So is it the 49ers' fault? What Will was saying, what Will Blackman was saying is this is personal responsibility. He said he had 9 surgeries in the NFL. You know, as the surgeries pile up and you realize, man, it's going to affect my money. I'm not going to make much money, or the money I thought I was going to make, because I'm hurt all the time. The most important thing isn't getting stronger and stronger and stronger. It's being available. And he figured it out. He also said that certain teams do a great job of setting people up for success. He kept coming back to the Seahawks, saying they're just phenomenal in terms of stressing recovery and showing players the proper way to not overcook their muscles. Very interesting. So, young players, if you're watching and trying to figure out how not to end up like Jeff Wilson Jr., Tavarius Moore, Justin School, maybe chill out a little bit in the offseason. Maybe learn a little bit more about recovery. Because, I mean, who got hurt? Brandon Ayuk? That guy always works out. He was at that offseason facility with Trey Lance going crazy. And what Will Blackman was saying is a lot of times these players work out harder there than they do when they come and work out with the team. So I feel like what we're seeing is too much strength. Too much strength training in the offseason. We need more recovery. The Niners need a recovery coach, someone who specializes in that. Because I swear, Dustin Perry, Ben Peterson, they get these guys muscled up. Look at George Kittle. Look at these guys. They're huge. But it seems like their ligaments can't support it. So maybe a more balanced approach, some more personal responsibility, but more of a point of emphasis from the entire organization. For young players in particular, guys, we have an 8-year epidemic here. I know it's on you, but it's on us too. We're going to make sure that you take advantage of these resources. Very interesting what Will Blackman said. Iron Niner said, what does Mike McDaniels look and sound like more? A barista coach at Starbucks or an OC for Antifa? I'm going to get to him next. You guys are really mean. He could have been nervous, man. You guys are being mean. Hold on. Iron Niner, got you. Okay. Kyle seemed pissed, which I thought was a good thing. Then he spoke and came off as so indifferent. Yeah, he didn't seem pissed to me. He seemed pissed that he had to do the press conference. Pissed that he had to answer our questions, because what do we know? But then, honestly, the content of his answers was indifference. Like, I'm sorry, but this is football. I know a lot of you guys are wringing your hands, but this happens every year. All right, man. Good luck. Good luck. We're just trying to help, man. We're just trying to help. It's all quality control on this side, baby. Ramon says, good question for Mike today. Kind of funny how he danced around the question when asked what he actually does as the oath. He danced around every question, man. That was the most painful press conference I can remember. V.O. Walker says, it's like Kyle is surrounded by a bunch of yes men. Nobody won't check him. John Lynch should speak more and Kyle less. John Lynch would have done such a better job today, man. He would have, every question, John would have been like, I hear you. That's a fair question. And he would have tried to give specifics as opposed to Kyle, who's sitting there like, man, this is dumb. That's a dumb question. That's a dumb question. He is surrounded by a bunch of yes men. That's too bad. And one of the biggest yes men, I think, is his dad. One of the things I appreciate about my dad, even though he's in my corner and my biggest fan, he will absolutely tell me when I'm wrong. I'm 33 and he will still call me and let me know, Grant, you did this wrong. You're wrong here. I appreciate that. You can't get too big for that. You always have to have someone that has the license to tell you that you're wrong. Someone that you respect. Just because you're making $10 million a year doesn't mean that you lose that. Could call VO. That could be, nope, last one. Love you, Grant. Any news on the Niners hiring Vish as scout and you as quality control? It would be the smartest move they made. Maybe they should just have me as recovery czar. No, that should be Will Blackman, honestly. Will Blackman, it seems like they should bring in Will Blackman and have him talk to the team. They need to, I think what they need is vets talking to young players. You know, I think it's one thing if you hear from coaches, but it's another thing if you hear from vets. And I think that, I don't know. You know, I don't know what it is. But at the same time, who are the vets on the Niners who have the most influence? George Kittle. What does George Kittle do? Lift every day, all the time? What does he know about recovery? His body breaks down too. So maybe it's a whole culture in the Niners, man. Lift, forget recovery. Would that explain why Jeff Wilson tore his meniscus standing up? Probably thinking that meniscus was weakened before he stood up. How much weightlifting had he done from January to now? Because as Will Blackman said, I mean, think about how much you're breaking down your muscles for 9 months. You need to give yourself 2-3 months to recover. I think it's very, very interesting. Rod says, well, at least he canceled. I guess we owe you yet again, Grant. What would we do without you? Maybe waiting on Garoppolo to be Brady. Yeah, man. I think that's funny. Canceled not just one practice, but every practice. But not because of injury. Don't think it was because of injury. All right, let's talk about Mike McDaniel unless I missed one. Frederick Peterson. Oh, wait. No, I got you. All right, Mike McDaniel. This guy. Hold on. Was there another one? No. Kyle gave you the song and dance. He always gives me the song and dance. And I don't like that about him because, again, you're giving the song and dance to your fans who love you. They want to love you. If you would just go out there and give them and be sincere and take it seriously and give them a good answer, fans will be like, man, I love Kyle. Look at him, man. He's on top of it. Grant's being too hard on him. Kyle means well. But instead, he sits back and gives you the like, man, what you going to do about it? And fans are like, whoa, like I'm legitimately concerned. Say one thing that'll reassure me. And he's like, man, it's football. It's going to keep happening. We're not going to we change things all the time. All right, well, you just reassured no one. And you chalked it up to what? Getting over on Grant? Nah, that's not what happened. Let's be real. How come nobody asked Kyle about the hockey guy? I'm sure there are plenty of NHL coaches we can find to help out Kyle. Personally, I always feel bad talking about trainers, man. They're normal people who don't get paid a ton of money, and now you're trying to get them fired. I don't even know if it's their problem. It just feels a little rough. I think that's why a lot of reporters don't do it. They're working people who work very hard and had a lot of schooling. Maybe the Niners guys aren't the best in the world, which is they need to be the best in the world because the NFL. But man, they're sincere. They're good at what they do. Maybe not be great at what they do, but unless I know for sure it's the trainers, I wouldn't want to like go on a campaign to get a trainer fired. This doesn't seem fair. And I can campaign all I want to get Kyle Shanahan fired, which I haven't done. It's not going to make a difference. He has a lot more power than me. So I like to punch up, not down. That's what it is. I don't like punching down. A trainer, I have too much influence. 32,000 YouTube subscribers, I'm dangerous, man. All right, now we got to talk about Mike McDaniel. Did I even do that? Okay, first impression of Mike McDaniel. So I was expecting Mike McDaniel to have a professorial tone. He went to Yale. He's kind of got this like brains of the operation thing going on. Like if Kyle's Captain Kirk than Mike McDaniels Spock. I was expecting him to talk almost in a British accent, like very refined and quiet and with a lot of detail. That's what I was expecting. I've heard him talk a little bit. He was very relaxed when he would talk in small groups with reporters before the season started off camera. Today, I don't know what that was, man. He couldn't get the words out of his mouth. At the very least, he seemed extremely nervous, which I feel for, but he's like 41, man. I know he looks 23, but he's Kyle's age. He's gone every step of the way with Kyle. And this was his first press conference as an offensive coordinator, and he couldn't get the words out of his mouth, man. I thought it was, who cares if you can't, who cares, right? Who really cares? But I just was like, whoa, dude, this isn't helpful. You're going to need a little practice. But then my mind went to places like, well, everyone says this guy's the best run game coordinator in the league. He couldn't get a promotion. He's still not calling plays. He got interviewed around the league this year. No one picked him up. He got a half semi-honorary promotion with the 49ers, doesn't get to call plays. I asked him. He said, no, Kyle's the best. So why doesn't anyone pick this guy up if he's so forward-thinking? Well, I think we learned today. He's not the most impressive when he talks. Gets a little nervous, kind of talks around things, which is fine. But I have a tough time seeing a team sit down with him, listen to him for 5 minutes and say, yeah, our fan base doesn't know this guy, but they're going to be really excited about him. So I think that explains why he's had a tough time rising up the ranks and why he's stuck with Kyle. Kyle clearly understands what he brings to the table and doesn't need him to talk. He talks. But I was thinking, man, they lost Mike LaFleur. They've lost some coaches. When they lose Mike McDaniel, that's going to be a blow because he might be the mastermind of the whole run game. I don't think they're going to lose Mike McDaniel anytime soon. I hate to say it, but I feel like he's cool. Like he's going to be here. I mean, who's going to hire him to be a head coach? You can't make him a head coach. You can't let someone like that be the CEO of your franchise. You can't let that happen. I'm sorry. He's not a front man. He's like the bassist of the group. He's the drummer. Cannot be the front man. So good thing for the Niners, man. They got a guy who's really smart and knows Kyle, knows the offense, does a good job. Shouldn't be going anywhere anytime soon. He's content, not even calling plays. Doesn't probably interview that well. He has all these great ideas, but he can't express them. So good news for the 49ers. Doesn't really matter how the offensive coordinator does in press conferences. He's not even calling plays. We know he's good at his job. I think he's going to be hanging around here for a while. I don't think he's going anywhere. So that's my first impression of Mike McDaniel. He's going to be a Niner lifer. That's a good thing because I think he's really good at his job. I hope I wasn't too mean on him. That was a little alarming. It's not high school, man. This is an offensive coordinator of the NFL, and he was up there like it just occurred to him. He was going to have to do a press conference. Like he never prepared for one in his life. Whatever happened to the vets being a part of the culture press conference? The first bet I would hire is Ronnie Lott. Yeah, man. Again, if you're trying to teach kids the importance of recovery, not just strength training, maybe have someone other than coaches say it because they're going to tune out. When coaches say it, it's like, wah, 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 wah. If it's Will Blackman, if it's Ronnie Lott, if it's Jerry Rice, maybe players will be like, oh, okay, that's how I, make it 10 years in the league. I think it just carries more weight. All right, coaches next. Where you at? Boom. Okay, hold on. No, wait. What happened to Coach? Hold on, Coach. Where you go? Oh, here we go. No. Stay on him. Keep that Kyle energy on McDaniel. It's McDaniel. It's not McDaniels. No one knows this guy's name, and I like that. Everyone calls Kittle Kittles, or I did. Let's just keep calling him McDaniels because it's not his name. It's McDaniel. Until he can give a better performance in a press conference, his name is McDaniels. That man did everything but pull out. Ooh. I don't think that's the issue. Really. I don't think that's the issue. I would hope that's not the issue. My God. Considering the history of the offensive coordinator, but still, you're allowed to be nervous. I could have done better. I'm sorry. Now I go live every day. Maybe I'm a natural performer, but whoa, dude, you weren't prepared for this. You're 40. You've been in the league for 15 years. You didn't think this day was going to come. That's how you thought it was going to go? That's how you envisioned it? I was in the YouTube channel. Everyone in there was like, whoa, this man. I mean, it almost sounded like he was slurring his words. That's why I think you guys are saying what you're saying. I just felt he was nervous. So to me, it was endearing, but the first time. Next time he needs to improve. He needs to get a little bit better at this every time if he wants to have a path to another promotion. If he doesn't want to top out as the assistant to Kyle Shanahan for his life. I could see Kyle telling him, let me answer the hard questions, LOL. I don't know. Mike McDaniel made every question seem like a hard question. I don't know how that happened. The guy went to Yale. I couldn't get into Yale. That dude's way smarter than me. Just say something and believe it. Just have some conviction. Endearing? Yeah, it's like he looks 11, you know? And he's up there and he's nervous. And it's like, man, look at him try. Look at him go. And then you remember, no, he's in his 40s and he's the offensive coordinator of the 49ers. Yeah, I guess endearing's the wrong word. It's embarrassing. Yeah, I'm trying to help you, Mike. That was a bad look, dude. That was a really bad look. You got to do better than that. You got to do better than that. And I think you can, man. I think you can. I've heard you in small groups that you can do better than that. It was the screen. I think it was the light on the camera can throw some people off. Some people get that look. I think he had it. You know that look? Yeah. All right. That's my show. Those are all. Book smarts doesn't make you a good public speaker. Yeah, I mean, it's fine. It's fine. I just think to be a head coach, you got to be a little bit more presentable. So good news for the Niners. They're going to keep McDaniel for a very long time. He's a lifer. He's not going anywhere. Good news. Hey, I'm done. I'm going to go get a little lunch. I'm going to be on Twitch at 3. And I'm going to try to figure out how to take calls. You can do it through Discord. I'm just going to go on Twitch and have people tell me how to do it. I'll answer questions Q&A style anyway. Be there an hour and 20 if you're into it. And then 5:30 roundtable on YouTube. 7 o'clock Niners After Dark with Jesse Naylor. It's a big day. There's a lot to talk about. And it's really, I'm nervous because we're not going to have much to talk about for the next month and a half. I was counting on those rookie camps. You know, on the one hand, I'm like, Kyle, you need to be a little bit more conservative in camp. The other hand, the other part of me is like counting the dollars in my head and how much money I'm going to make on each practice report. So I'm like, oh, you canceled practice? That hurts. I really wanted that. I was really going to enjoy that. But what are you going to do? It's the right call. So from June 9th to July 25th, we're going to have to figure out things to talk about. But I'm pretty good at it. I got 10 years experience. So I'll be back. Last one, I'm broke. The enthusiasm that we had when Harbaugh was in commercials with team, is that ever coming back? Oh, you didn't see Kyle at the Sonoma Raceway? He let his hair down a little bit. He usually kind of talks through his nose and to his belly button, but in this one, he was like, start your engine! I thought it was the most personality he's ever shown since he's become the head coach of this team. I thought it was pretty cool. So, you know, he's extending himself. He's letting his hair down. I'll be back in an hour 20. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everyone. Talk to you then.